Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning into another Supatease video. There are class changes hot off the presses related to the Midnight Alpha. New set bonuses, new talents, new effects, and some very interesting ones in this one to catch up on. And if you want to make sure you're staying up to date with news related to World of Warcraft, educational and entertaining content, then make sure to smash that subscribe button. Your support is greatly appreciated. But let's get underway because there is a lot to cover. Set bonuses, pretty straightforward here initially, not a lot of risk. For Havoc Demon Hunter, you're getting 15% more damage on Blade Dance and 6% haste during Metamorphosis, just flat throughput. Vengeance Demon Hunters are getting 30% damage on their Fracture, and their 30% chance when they fracture to explode it into AoE damage that does fire damage. So nothing too risky there with the Demon Hunter ones. The Assassination Rogue one, though, is definitely a treat. 30% more Garrote damage, and it applies your weapon poisons. So when we're looking at PvP environment, a lot of these are reduced significantly in PvP, but this type of like additional effect is something that's harder to nerf by like 50% or whatever the number is that they pick, right? Because it's just an effect. Or are they going to make the poisons do less damage? They can't. So this type of set bonus ends up being a lot more valuable typically. And for the 4 set, energy cost of Garrote is being reduced by 10. Mutilate, Ambush, and Phantom Knives also will deal 25% more damage to targets affected by your weapon poison. So very good set bonus here for Assassination Rogue. For Outlaw Rogue, this is likely going to be much better in Mythic Plus. Actually, am I mistaking Blade Rush with Blade Flurry? I think I might be here. So Blade Rush damage is increased by 30%, and its damage to your primary target is increased by an additional 25%. Now, I don't know if they've renamed Blade Flurry into Blade Rush or not, because Blade Rush was the one where you target dashed to the target. So if this is that one wasn't that substantial or that significant. But we'll have to see, because that is a significant amount of damage modifications. Also getting its cooldown reduced by 6 seconds and increasing your damage dealt by 5%. Okay, so this is a much bigger deal, especially if it's got mobility tied to it, because they're doing a big prune back of mobility with this update. And Ryder, thank you for subscribing. For Subtlety Rogue, finishing moves will deal 1.5% more damage per combo point spent. Not too much risk here. Shadow Blades has a 4% increased duration and causes your attacks to deal an additional 6% damage as Shadow. Interesting. I feel like this is what's funny is that at least in PvP, right? They've been nerfing Shadow Blades, so now they got a set bonus that gives you back some of the nerfs. But this is probably going to be nerfed again pretty significantly. The ones that are just like flat modifiers are usually not as effective. We're looking like bonus effects or cooldown oriented stuff. Those usually end up being a lot stronger. Arms Warriors is getting 5% damage on Mortal Strike and Cleave. Colossus Smash will also increase damage taken by an additional 5%. Damaging a target affected by Colossus Smash with Mortal Strike or Cleave that hits 3 or more targets will extend Colossus Smash's effect. So extension is really good. I think that's going to be likely a pretty strong mechanic overall for Warrior, and Warrior's going to get a lot of attention. Looks like they've got a roadmap with how Apex talents are going to go. You get one at level 81, one at 84, and one at 90. You ultimately... Actually, that's interesting, because right now you can get them all, I think, at one point. So they staggered it a little bit. Some of them depend, some of them it's stronger on the first Apex tier, then other classes want to go all the way into it, but it's kind of irrelevant, right? When we're thinking about endgame, I'm sure the leveling process is not going to be taking up too much time. And yeah, Blade Rush is the dash effect. So this is interesting that they're making a set bonus around the dash effect for Outlaw Rogue, because they normally don't do that. That spell is usually pretty minor when it comes to that. So an interesting set bonus there for Outlaw Rogue at least. Riders of the Apocalypse looks like bug fixes mostly here for Unholy and Frost. For Blood, cooldown manager has been updated. So this is a big one, I think, for like incorporating add-ons into the game. So I want to test this. I think I saw something saying that they've also updated the damage meter. So it looks like they were looking at all these buffs and debuffs and auras. I think this is like super important as far as being the baseline UI being usable without third-party add-ons. For Unholy, Raise Abomination's being updated. Army of the Dead now raises an abomination for 30 seconds and instantly putrefies 4 lesser ghouls summoned at 100% effectiveness. That's a big amount of burst. So I do think Raise Abomination, at least in PvE, was pretty weak. So this is them trying to amp it up a bit. So this is also adding maybe a little bit more gameplay, because you're gonna have to like actually pay attention to like how many lesser ghouls you have before you activate it. So we'll see how that plays out, because in PvE they've complained often about ramp not being good, but maybe it won't be too bad to get 4 up in that amount of time. Gargoyle is also getting an update. Army of the Dead now summons a gargoyle into the battlefield to bombard your enemies by 25 seconds, and it instantly putrefies 4 lesser ghouls. So just really trying to incorporate putrefy basically into all the classes, it looks like, right? Or into all of the talents, I should say, which is interesting. Reanimation's being updated. Putrefied ghouls now have a 50% chance to be resummoned. Oh, they've watched my video, bro. They watched my video of summoning in a skeletal army, and they nerfed it. They nerfed it. Unfortunate. Unholy Devotion is also being updated. Putrefy causes your permanent ghoul to go into an unholy frenzy, increasing its attack speed by 25% for 5 seconds. That's interesting. I think there's another talent on DK that's like enfeeble. I think it's applied by your pet. So increasing the attack speed of the pet might be able to provide that. We get some people in my stream telling me the Shadow Priest changes are insane, so I'm going to work our way down to that. There's a lot. There's seemingly a lot that's insane in this update. Unholy Aura is being updated. It no longer grants haste when Putrefy is cast. That's unfortunate. I really think Unholy Aura is that's like an iconic name from Warcraft 3, so I'm hoping that ends up being decent, but it's already getting nerfed. Ancient Runes has been renamed to Ancient Power and has been updated. Spending Runic Power grants you 1 or 2% strength for 20 seconds. Multiple applications may overlap. Risen Sulker now is affected by Commander of the Dead. I think that's the Archer. He kind of sucked, so they're trying to make him a little less sucky. Fixing an issue causing Ghoulish Frenzy to not be applied, so bug fixes across the board here. Putrefy doing less than intended damage. They're buffing Sweeping Claw, so your pet's getting a lot of buffs this time around, and they've done the same cooldown management tracking changes, and that's just the same for Beastmaster here as well. For Marksmanship Hunter, True Shot, it now reduces the cooldown of aim shot and rapid fire by 40%. It was previously 60. What do they have to say about this? We'd like to leave a bit more room for other spells in your True Shot window. Okay, so they really don't want you to this to be all about aim shot. I wonder if they actually are intending on you to actually use Steady Shot more or not, because this, when I was playing Marksman, aim shot was already, I guess it's already slow enough. This isn't going to be too big of a deal, but the rapid fire one is definitely pretty big. Survival is getting an Apex talent update, Raptor Swipe. I think they were just making Raptor Strike AoE, so what's this going to do? Our goal with this Apex talent update is to ensure that Raptor Strike feels like an active and meaningful rotational spell. Allow it to proc and benefit from it and associate Raptor Strike effects and reinforce the martial aspect of Survival's gameplay. The first note is now Raptor Strike has a 25% chance to upgrade itself to Raptor Swipe, dealing heavy physical damage to nearby. I think that's literally the Druid with the Claw ability for Raise, turning Maul into Raise. You guys are getting like the Guardian Druid. I'm spacing out of the name of the hero talent tree, but you're basically getting that mechanic. Second node, Raptor Strike, Wildfire Bomb, and Raptor Swipe damage is being increased by 10 and 20, and Swipe will deal 25 to 50, increased damage to its primary target. Third node, Raptor Strike has a 100% chance to upgrade itself to Raptor Swipe, and Raptor Swipes that benefit from Tip the Sphere provoke an additional strike. Okay, that's pretty substantial. That's going to be a lot. That is a lot. That is going to be a lot of damage on these Survival Apex talents. And the same cooldown manager changes here for Survival. For Frost Mage, new talent, Archmage's Wrath. Arcane Surge damage is increased by 30%, and Ray of Frost damage is increased by 20%. So now Arcane Surge is the big cooldown, right? Because they're introducing a new ability as well. And I can't remember if they stole its name or not. Arcane Explosion is replaced by it. I think this is the cooldown. There's too many abilities that start with Arcane and Arcane Mage. But the Ray of Frost is pretty substantial. Controlled Instincts has been updated. No longer requires your target to have been recently damaged by Arcane Orb or Blizzard. And its cleave percentage has been reduced, though, from 30 to 30 from 40. Several talents have moved, and Volatile Magic has been deleted. Spellslinger for Arcane. Archmage's Wrath, so 30% Arcane Surge. Infused Splinters is being updated. Chance to gain Arcane Salvo has been reduced to 15 from 25. Oh, they're going to nerf the crap out of Spellslinger, aren't they? Controlled Instincts has been updated. It no longer requires your target to have been recently damaged by Arcane Orb or Blizzard, but its cleave percentage is being reduced. Several talents have changed position, and Volatile Magic has also been deleted. Sun Fury for Arcane. Glorious Incandescence has been updated. Arcane Barrage summons 1 meteor for every 5 Arcane Salvo stacks consumed. Was it just 5 guaranteed before every time? Pyrocosm has been updated. Each wave of arcane missiles has a 10% chance to summon a meteorite. When a meteorite lands, you'll have a 5% chance to gain clear casting. So a little bit of synergy trade-off, requires a little bit more ramp. For classes, Cone of Cold has been updated to apply Chilled. Oh, okay, interesting, because Cone of Cold's kind of not been a rotational spell. I'm honestly surprised to see them try and slap this in here, because I think previously, Cone of Cold and what was the one for Warlock? Shadow Flame, I think. They deleted Shadow Flame, but they're actually keeping Cone of Cold around, and could be an interesting kind of AoE effect. I think it's likely going to be an important component actually for Mage next expansion with how much they're pruning. Arcane is getting substantial amount of changes here. We're taking a second pass at Arcane Salvo's economy. Focused on ensuring Arcane Missiles is one of your best Arcane Salvo generators while slowing down the cadence of Arcane Barrage casts. We're also changing, they don't like you spamming Barrage all the time. We're also changing many Arcane Missile procs to fire when Missiles is released, rather than when Arcane Missiles deals damage, to increase the responsiveness of the proc effect. We're also making some hero talent focus changes to ensure that the ways each hero talent engage with Arcane Salvo is meaningful and unique. New talent, Overpowered Missiles. Gaining clear casting has a 15% chance to cause your next Arcane Missiles to be overpowered, causing it to deal 100% increased damage and strike 3 additional targets at 50% effectiveness. That's a lot of RNG for like a super arcane missiles right there. That's a lot of RNG. Arcane Salvo is being updated so that each wave of arcane missiles grants 1 stack of Arcane Salvo. And Expanded Mind has been updated so that casting Arcane Blast or Arcane Pulse. Arcane Pulse is the new ability, so Arcane Surge is your cooldown. Grants 1 stack of Arcane Salvo. Arcane Singularity has been updated. It's now a 2-point talent, increasing Arcane Salvo's damage bonus by 2 to 4%. Focusing Crystal has been updated. It now causes each wave of Arcane Missiles to have a 50% chance to grant 1 additional stack of Arcane Salvo, and it's been moved on the talent tree. The cooldown manager has been updated. Electrostatic Orb has been deleted. This talent was providing too much Arcane Salvo, specifically for Spellslinger, who is already proficient at generating Salvo in AoE. So they're trying to slow down the Arcane Barrage. Missiles, they're trying to make missiles a bit more effective. Fire Mage, no changes, despite a lot of players with this one being concerned about Fire Mage. We're not getting any changes, just updates to the cooldown manager like every other spec. For Frost, we are reducing Shatter's power and moving it into some underperforming Frost spells. We're also making Ray of Frost and Comet Storm a bit easier to use. And lastly, we are reducing the number of 2-pointers in the tree to make pathing around gates 3 and 2 a bit easier. Everlasting Frost is updated and now causes Frozen Orb to grant Fingers of Frost. Didn't it already do that? Ray of Frost has been updated. The duration is reduced to 4. The tick rate is reduced to 0.5. It was 5 with a 0.6, so it's a little bit faster. Flurry does 100% more damage, but Shatter does 25% less. Frozen Orb does 100% more, and Blizzard does 300% more. So taking some damage out of the Shatter mechanic makes it a bit easier to play, I would assume. You just get a little bit more guaranteed damage. Comet Storm damage increased by 25%, and its radius is also increased a little bit. Icy Hand is now 1 talent point. Deep Shatter is now 1 talent point, and they've done the same kind of cooldown managers. Now, Windwalker, we got Monk next. Windwalker was the class that I was going to log on next. And I think maybe I was going to try Demo, and apparently, according to my stream here, Shadow, when we get to it. But for Monk, Windwalker Zwen's Bond decreases the cooldown of Invoke Zwen the Right Tiger by 30 seconds and increases its damage by 30%. I think it's a lot stronger. And note that Zwen is now locked into the Conduit hero talent tree, otherwise you won't get him. For Shadow Pen, Flurry Strikes has been redesigned. It now has a chance to grant 1 to 2 stacks from auto attacks. It's equalized between 2-handed and 1-handed weapons. Okay, so not too big of a deal maybe. 1 versus Many has been redesigned. Now it causes auto attack critical strikes to grant double flurry charges. They want you to be able to just pick it based on it being a cosmetic. Why not just let you transmog a 2-hander into 2 1-handers then, and just, people are going to equip whatever's better, right? And one of them's likely going to be better. So I just, the whole weapon limitation thing I feel like is kind of dated. People just want to look cool with the weapon. They don't actually care what's in the slot. They just care about what the attack animation is. Efficient Training has been redesigned. It now decreases the cooldown of Zenith by 10 seconds and invokes Nizwao, the Black Ox, by 20 seconds. Okay, so Zenith is the new big cooldown, Weapons of Order. So 10 seconds off that is pretty substantial. So a little bit of cooldown reduction for Windwalker here. Fatal Touch no longer increases damage dealt. That was a Touch of Death one. I was surprised. I didn't think the Touch of Death talent was even that good. Mistweaver, new talent, Morning Breeze. Rising Sun Kick damage is increased by your mastery rating. And they've updated your cooldown. So it seems... wasn't mastery already pretty good for Mistweaver? Maybe I'm mistaken. I might be mistaken here, but I think they're trying to do a better job of balancing out the stat pool, the stat weights, so you're not just like completely dead in the water if you have a different stat pool than like what's considered to be the most optimal. Yeah, I can link you guys the notes here in the chat. Just 1 second. For Windwalker, Jade Fire Stomp, which is passive now, it's also going to provide you movement speed for 3 seconds after it's casted. Cooldown manager updates for Holy Paladins. For Prot Paladins, you guys are getting a lot. They're addressing survivability concerns as a consequence of reduced uptime and defensive cooldowns. They want less cooldowns required and the baseline defensives. To that end, we're adding some talents to provide a wider suite of customizations. Imbued Shield. Shield of the Righteous reduces magical damage taken by 10%. So just basically just damage mitigation built into your roster. Adjudication. Judgment causes its primary target's successful melee attacks against you to grant an Absorb Shield. So just passive mitigation in your damage rotation so far. Instrument of the Divine. Shield of the Righteous consumes up to 2 more holy power and deals 50% increased damage. That's an interesting scaling mechanic. Valiant Crusade now grants Shield of Righteous for 4 additional seconds, up from 2. And Valiant Crusade is moved into the gate 1 of the talent tree. Grant Crusader chance to trigger increased to 20 from 15. Reduced chance for Judgment to trigger Glory of the Vanguard. Increased Glory of Vanguard's line effect damage. Fix an issue, so just bug fixes, tanky, or more damage. I got to get on Moonkin and start making some videos about Moonkin and some feedback here because they're being very responsive to the stuff so far. Like I did a lot of coverage on DK recently, and it feels like they've looked at almost like everything in that. So I need to spend something on my spec a little bit here too. Okay, guys, on the next round. Rat's getting nothing. Just getting the cooldown manager update on this round of changes. For Holy Priest, for Archon, Empowered Surges have been updated to also increase the healing of Prayer of Healing affected by Surge of Light, while the effect is active and Spirit Well is talented. Preventative Measures increases the healing of Prayer Mending by 15% down from 40. It's pretty substantial nerf to Oracle here for Holy Priest. For Benediction on Holy, it's been updated. Rank 2 and 3 now increase the healing of Cosmic Ripple by 25 and 50, and increase all healing done by 5 to 10. So I don't know if maybe that's because they wanted to move it away from that and put it over onto here. We got a new build here for the... Oh, Rogue! Oh my god, Rogue is actually on this. Fatebound. New talent. Sometimes Lucky. Critical strike chance increased by 3%. Controlled Chaos. After flipping a Fatebound coin that ends a streak of 4 or more, flip another that matches the same face. And new talent, Ravenhold Mint. Flipping heads increases damage by an additional 4%. Damage dealt by flipping tails is increased by 15%. So nothing, not like a huge amount of stuff here. So let's see what's going on. Trickster, Hoodwink, phased increased damage taken by 3%. New talent, Flashing Steel, Unseen Blade may now occur once every 15 seconds and has a 25% chance to strike twice. A new talent, Clever Combatant, Pistol Shot, and Shuriken Storm has a 20% increased critical strike chance and now triggers Unseen Blade. So a little bit more synergy going there. Not huge risks though with the hero talents here for Rogue. For Elemental, new talents. Lava Flows. Lava Burst damage increased by 5%. Lava Burst and Lava Burst Overload will generate 1 more Maelstrom. Fire Elemental has been removed as a talent. Call of Fire remains as a way to continue to summon it. So you get Fire Elemental baseline now, or I'm confused a bit by this one, but Lava Burst, though, is getting reduced by 15%, which is baseline. Several talents have changed position. So it's tough to say what's going on there. Enhance, just cooldown manager. Enhance has been looking pretty good just overall, so I'm not surprised. And Demonology, I think, is one that people have been saying a lot about. Might be the one that I need to check out. So after playtesting and reading community feedback, we are revising some of the initial changes for Demonology going into Midnight. Specifically, we are eliminating the cap on Wild Imps. Oh god, bro, what? And returning the energy cost to Fell Firebolt. Additionally, we are redesigning Summon Demonic Tyrant and Implosion with the goal of making it easier to know when to cast either ability. Yes, make Implosion something. Again. Lastly, Dominion of Argus has been completely redesigned to increase both its visual and gameplay appeal. We wanted to bring back some of the fantasy that Nether Portal brought while ensuring each demon had presence and spectacle, rather than just being another auto-attacking creature added to the crowd that follows your target. Tuning on these talents and others will be ongoing as we dial in Demonology's Soul Shard economy and overall damage profile. I'm probably going to have to log in and test this one. This looks like a lot. New talent, Dominant Hand, increases damage dealt by Hand of Gul'dan to its main target by 20%. Inner Demons, you passively summon a wild imp to fight for you for every 12 seconds. And Blighted Maw, Dreadbite infects the target, dealing 50% damage dealt over 8 seconds as plague damage. So all your demons are getting better. Aura of Contempt, Fellstorm, grants your Felguard Aura of Contempt for 8 seconds. An Aura of Contempt increases the haste of all of your friendly demons. Oh god. That's a lot. You give infinite imps now too. New talent, Spiteful Reconstitution. Demon Bolt deals 10% increased damage. Consuming a demonic core has a chance to summon a wild imp. New talent, Tyrant's Oblation. Your demonic tyrant also empowers you while active, increasing your haste by 8%. So synergies between demons and you. Reign of Tyranny. Your demonic tyrant lasts an additional 5 seconds and extends the duration of your Dreadstalkers by 15 seconds when summoned. Gives you a lot more window with Dreadbite also. New talent, Doom. When Demon Bolt consumes a demonic core, it inflicts impending doom upon the target, dealing shadow damage to enemies within 10 yards of its target after 20 seconds or when removed. Damage is reduced beyond 8 targets. Hand of Gul'dan reduces the duration of doom. So it says new, but it was already in the game, so I'm a bit confused. Unless they deleted it and now they've added it back. New talent, Grimoire Implord. Summon an Implord to assist you in combat for 20 seconds, and you will remove one harmful effect from you when summoned. Transformed into Singe Magic while on cooldown. Wait, so you get to dispel people as Demonology now? So if you're in CC, you could summon this and get yourself out of CC and then dispel someone else? What the? So I have to test that. Like you get Singe Magic is dispel a magic effect. So is this keybind going to change into a defensive dispel? New talent, Grimoire Fell Ravager. Summon a Fell Ravager to assist you in combat for 20 seconds, and it will interrupt their target when summoned. Turns into Spell Lock while on cooldown. Isn't this just the summon the second Axe Toss guy? We are introducing this choice node as a means to give Demonology access to the utility they are locked out of due to Summon Felguard. Longtime Demonology players will recognize these grimoires from previous expansions. However, we are adding the ability to use Singe Magic or Spell Lock while their respective grimoires are on cooldown. So you're going to get 2 kicks because you could Fell Ravager kick and then kick. This new functionality should resolve the historical problem with grimoires where you would use them on cooldown for their damage rather than your utility. New talent, Stabilized Portals. Increases the duration of summon Vilefiend, Grimoire Implord, or Grimoire Fell Ravager by 3 seconds. Hand of Gul'dan's being updated. It calls down a demonic meteor full of imps, which burst forth to attack the target. You're like Pikmin, dude. Just like Pikmin. Deals up to Shadow Flame damage on impact to all enemies within 8 yards, and it summons 3 wild imps. Power Siphon is being updated. Instantly sacrifice up to 2 imps, generating 2 charges of demonic core, and causes Demon Bolt to deal 30% more damage. I think it did something already very similar to that before, but Implosion has been updated. Demonic forces suck 6 of your wild imps forward. Toward the target. My vision, bro. And then causes them to violently explode, dealing Shadow Flame damage to enemies within 8 yards. I really hope Implosion is good. Demonic Calling has been updated. Call Dreadstalkers cost 1 less and 2 less soul shards, and its cast time is reduced by 50 to 100%. So you can get the instant Dreadstalkers. Demonic Brutality. Bro, this is the most amount of changes of any class so far, I think. Damage and critical strikes dealt by you and your demons increased by 230 from 200. I wonder if that'll end up getting nerfed. Usually crit modifiers like that get nerfed, at least in PvP. Summon Demonic Tyrant has been updated. Summon a Demonic Tyrant that damages your target for 15 seconds. Damage dealt by Demonic Tyrant is increased by 10% for each Wild Imp, Dreadstalker, and Vilefiend active when summoned. So lots of synergies here with extending Demons to the Tyrant and buffing the Tyrant. Master Summoner has been updated. It increases Mastery by 3%, reduces the cast time of Summon Demonic Tyrant and Summon Felguard by 0.5. So if your pet dies, you can get a little bit of a faster res. Obviously, the 0.5 on Tyrant's pretty substantial too. Summon Doomguard's being updated. It summons a Doomguard to assist you in combat for 12 seconds. Consuming a demonic core reduces the cooldown of Summon Doomguard by 3. Oh, so it's going to be a keybind. Before, I swear it was just like a proc. So is it a keybind now? Demon Bolt Volley. Or Doom Bolt Volley. Sends a volley of malefic bolts at 5 enemies within 40 yards, inflicting shadow damage to each target. Eye of Gul'dan's being updated. Hand of Gul'dan has a 100% chance to summon an Eye of Gul'dan. Infernal Grudge is being updated. Sears the soul of its target with Fellfire, dealing fire damage every 1 second. It's a little bit of a dot. Evil Eye is being updated. Isle Gul'dan lasts an additional 4 seconds. Infernal Grudge weakens the soul of the target, increasing damage taken from you and your demons by 4% while channeled. Dominion of Argus rank 1 is being updated. Summoning your demonic tyrant leaves open a portal to Argus for 15 seconds, causing every 3 casts of Hand of Gul'dan to summon a subjugated demon that serves you. Okay, so it's way harder to actually get a demon out of that portal if you can't free cast. But it makes me think those demons are probably going to be a lot better. Dominion of Argus rank 2 out of 3 has been updated. Increases the duration of Dominion of Argus by 5 to 10 seconds and increases the damage dealt by Hand of Gul'dan by 10 to 20. Okay, so interesting. Dominion of Argus rank 4 has been updated. While Dominion of Argus is active, Hand of Gul'dan refunds 1 soul shard. Demons summoned by Dominion of Argus last an additional 4 seconds. They've changed a lot of talents, and they've removed Ancient Imps, Doomguard Bracers, Executive Decision, Explosive Core, Hellbent Commander, Imp Mastery, and Improved Implosion. I think someone in my stream has baited us all because I don't think there are Shadow Priest changes because we're already on Warrior here. For Warrior, for Slayer, Slayer's Dominance is being updated. Your attacks have a 15% chance to trigger a Slayer Strike. The method for determining whether a Slayer Strike should trigger has been updated to be more consistent. Total number of Slayer Strikes should not change significantly. Okay, Javelineer has been redesigned. Heroic Throw silences. Oh, they have to put non-player targets for 3 seconds, but this can only occur every 15. That's a lot of disruption. That's a lot of disruption, bro. That is crazy disruption in PvE, at least. Like, that's like you have 2 pummels. Rallying Cry has been updated. Health granted increased by 50% while not in a raid. See, they have this new tuning knob when not in a raid to try and help out abilities that have like big AoE impact. For Arms Warrior, previous 20% reduction to rage generation from auto attacks has been reverted. Good, because you were really rage starved the last time I played it. Bladestorm, though, will no longer extend Colossus Smash on targets it damages. Odin's Fury for Fury is being increased by 140% and deals reduced damage, though, beyond 8 targets, up from 5. Fixing an issue that was causing Odin's Fury bleed damage to be incorrectly reduced by armor. Bladestorm no longer enrages you. Talent layout has been changed slightly. Frenzy is now a 1-point talent, but the effect is unchanged. Unbridled Ferocity has been completely removed. For Prot, Bolster has been updated. Last Stand's cooldown is reduced by 60 seconds, and when Last Stand is triggered, you gain Shield Wall for 4 seconds. Ooh, that's an extra little double dip. Bolster, Tough as Nails, Massacre, and Heavy Handed have changed position in the talent tree. Now, they got new housing purchases, and there's been a lot of controversy over the potential in-game shop implications. And they updated, I told you, they must have watched my DK video, because they updated Necromancer's Bargain. It was useless. What's it going to do now? Putrefy now summons a lesser ghoul to attack your target, and it heals you for 100% of the damage it deals. Lesser ghouls last for 2 seconds longer. The only crappy part about this is if you putrefy that ghoul immediately, will it heal you for the damage it dealt with putrefy? Because otherwise the healing component of this is kind of useless, right? I feel like the ghoul is not going to do that much damage anyways. The fact that it summons a ghoul is nice, but the healing is kind of irrelevant, I would assume, unless it scales with the putrefy explosion. Okay, what is this? Combat audio alerts. The combat audio alert system will read out various combat events over text-to-speech. Settings for the system are available. I think this is, they're trying to remove needing to download add-ons, but not alienate players that have like visual or audio, limitations. So they're actually going to be incorporating that. I was curious to see if it ended up being like Gladiator Losa, though, because that's basically what Gladiator Losa is, right? It's an audio, right? Now, for someone who is blind and playing WoW, they could only play the game if it's telling them what's happening. But for somebody who's not blind, is it the same? Is it the same? Add-on security changes. They've loosened restrictions on add-ons accessing the player's spellcast information and access to maximum health and power values of players. Is that so that they can modify the cosmetics of these? Or is that actually going to, affect anything like weak aura as being able to look at this? Made improvements to the ability for add-ons to format secret numbers into text. Make quality of life improvements to various add-on aura. The playstyle drop-down of the group create interface has been updated with standardized options, is now available for more types of group content, helping players find groups that better match their goals and expectations. Learning, relax, competitive, and carry offered. Oh, so you can change like, oh, interesting. This is them trying to address possible toxicity. So when you're in LFG, you can put that this group's about learning, or this group is just chill, we don't care, or this group is competitive, we do care, or if we're going to boost you. Basically. Playstyle information will appear at the bottom of each listing. New sections has been added to the filter dropdown. Name icons for rares, elites, and rare elites. Just a little bit of visual updates to cosmetics here. Okay. Big update for Demonology. Definitely one that I'm going to check out. And I really think I'm going to have to check out Boomkin too. Because now I want to know if it's going to end up in a good spot or not with all the changes that they're doing right now to everything else, because we haven't seen a Boomkin one in a while. But that's it for this update here with regards to the Midnight Alpha. So thank you guys very much for watching the video, and I will see you in the next one.